Hello dear students, today's our topic is food chain. In our last video already we have discussed about the definition of the food chain. Now today I am here with the complete explanation of the food chain. Now if you want to see the last video, kindly see in the link and just see this particular video in detail. And if you like the video, kindly like, share and subscribe the video. So just have a look on the food chain. What is meant by food chain? Food chain means whenever each and every species, they are interdependent of each other for their food purpose. That chain is called as the food chain. Commonly we are calling like that only. So a chain of the series that shows who eats whom in an ecosystem. That chain is called as the food chain. Means who eats whom, that chain is called as that chain is called as the food chain. But the real definition is a sequence of living organisms. A sequence of living organism that shows the interdependence. These are showing that shows the interdependence of the species for their food, of the organism for their food, is called as the food chain. So a sequence of living organism that shows the interdependence of organism for their food is called as the food chain. Now, this is the requirement of the food. All the species are dependent on each other for their food requirement purpose. Now here, just we can see here, one of the chain is there. This is the plant. On the plant, plants are the producer. On the plant, deer is the herbivore animal and that is dependent on the plant. Then carnivore animal, lion is there, that is dependent on the herbivore animal. In this way, in this particular chain, three species are there. Producer, then herbivores and the carnivore. And that's why this species is called as, this step is called as, this food chain is called as three-step food chain. Three-step food chain. So in this way, this is the three-step food chain is there. Now in another species, you can see, here is the grass, then scorpio is dependent on the grass, fish is dependent on the scorpio and crane is dependent on the fish. In this way, here four species are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's why these species are called as four-step species, food chain. Now here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 species are there. On the grass, grasshopper is dependent. Then on the grasshopper, frog is dependent. On the frog, snake is dependent. And on the snake, vulture is dependent. And that's why this species, this particular chain is called as five-step food chain. In this way, this first one is the three-step food chain, four-step food chain and the five-step food chain. And that's why these are divided into three parts, three-step, four-step as well as the five-step food chain. Now, this is the first type of chain. Here, grass. On the grass, deer is dependent. On the deer, lion is dependent. And here, the food material transfer from producer to the herbivore, herbivore to the carnivore. So, this is the food chain. Now, another thing is there, very important species. This is the grass. Grass is called as producer because they are autotrophs, they are preparing their own food. So, producers. Then this grasshopper is called as primary consumer. Grasshopper is called as primary consumer. Then this frog is called as secondary consumer. Snake is called as tertiary consumer. And hawk or the vulture, any species can be there and that is called as apex consumer, or it is also called as top level consumer. Means once again I am explaining, grass is called as producer, then grasshopper primary consumer, secondary consumer, frog is the secondary consumer, snake is the tertiary consumer and vulture or the hawk, that will be the top level consumer or the apex consumer. So these are the species which are interconnected with each other for the food purpose. Now, the next topic is that main features of the food chain, silent features of the food chain. First silent feature is that it shows the transfer of energy. Transfer of energy from one species to another species. When herbivore eats the plant, it gets the energy. When carnivore eats the herbivore, that also gets the energy. In this way, transfer of energy, a food chain shows that the transfer of energy from one level to the other. Another thing is that one important species you can see in that, one important observation is all the arrows are shown in the one direction only, because the energy transfer from the one direction, and that's why this is called as unidirectional source of energy. Energy is unidirectional. It just passes from producer to the other consumer with the help of the 10% law, on the basis of the 10% law. Now the third point is that producers convert solar energy into chemical energy. Now all the producers, all the autotrophs, they are collecting the solar energy, and that energy is converting into the chemical energy, and that is transferred from the producer to the herbivore, herbivore to the carnivore. And next one, another very important fact is that these are the herbivores. Herbivores consume the plant, and that's why herbivore they are consume the plant, and that's why they are coming next to the producer. Herbivore consume plant, so it comes next to the producer. Now these are the carnivorous animals. Carnivores consume the herbivore, and that's why they are next to the herbivore. So carnivore consume herbivores, so it comes next to the herbivore. So these are the main basic features, main basic characters of the food chain. First thing is that energy is transferred from the one level to other. Second one, energy transportation is unidirectional. Third one, for this producer they are converting solar energy into the chemical energy. Fourth one, herbivore consume plant, and that's why they are next to the producer. Carnivore consume the herbivore, they are next to the herbivores. And that's why the next thing is that basic functions. What are the basic functions in our ecosystem? First one is that energy transfer. Energy transfer from producer to the primary level consumer, secondary level, tertiary level, and to the top level consumer. Then food chain shows biotic component. These are all the biotic component of our ecosystem. And third thing is that it provides the dynamicity to the ecosystem. And because of that, because of this particular food chain linkage, each and every species get the particular proportion of the energy. And if little bit one of the species also vanish from the atmosphere, from the nature, then it will be affect the complete life chain, the chain of the food chain. And that's why there will be lot of different difficulties can be arises in our atmosphere. And that's why it is very important to conserve this particular food chain. So this is all about the food chain. Thank you very much.